The sun rose over the Pride Lands, golden and endless, spilling light across the rolling grass and sparkling streams. But young Simba felt a weight in his paws, a pull in his heart that told him today was not like any other. He stood atop Pride Rock, mane ruffling in the morning breeze, and below, the animals gathered in silent anticipation, from the towering elephants to the tiny meerkats peeking nervously from the grass. Timon chattered nervously, trying to hide his fear with jokes, while Pumbaa sniffed the air, sensing that the land itself was holding its breath. Simba's eyes searched the horizon, remembering the echo of Mufasa's roar that had once filled the skies with courage. Oh. And he felt a mixture of longing and responsibility, knowing that one day he would carry that roar himself. Just then, a shadow flickered over the sunlit land, stretching long and cold, and Simba's ears twitched as a low rumble echoed from the gorge below. From the rocks emerged Kovu, a lion with a dark mane and eyes that held memories of Scar's cruelty, moving with quiet strength and a hint of challenge. "The Pride Lands are changing," Simba Kovu said softly, his voice almost a whisper, but sharp enough to slice through the morning calm. "And the jungle remembers its old kings. Are you ready to prove your roar is worthy of Mufasa's legacy?" Simba's chest tightened with nervous energy, but before he could answer, Rafiki appeared, tapping his staff against the rock, eyes gleaming with wisdom. "The roar is not just sound, Simba," Rafiki said, voice deep and steady. "It is the heart of the land, and it grows strongest when guided by courage and kindness." Simba nodded, feeling warmth spread through him, and knew that today would test not only his strength but the very essence of who he was meant to become, as the cubs of the Pride Lands gathered to watch. Simba and Kovu stepped down from Pride Rock, moving through the tall grasses that whispered secrets with every swaying leaf. Birds flitted overhead, calling warnings and greetings, while distant waterfalls added a rhythm to the tension in the air. Simba's friends, Nala, Timon, and Pumbaa, followed closely, each heart pounding in sync with his own, ready to face whatever challenge might arise. Suddenly, a great rumble shook the earth, and the hyenas, long lurking in hidden corners, emerged with cautious curiosity, testing the waters of a jungle that had known fear before. Kovu smirked, a flicker of old Scar mischief in his eyes. But Simba held up a paw and roared, not in anger, but in command, his voice booming over the plains and making even the tallest giraffes pause. The hyenas skidded back, realizing that Simba's strength was different from Scar's, controlled, confident, yet fair. Kovu, impressed but still defiant, circled Simba, eyes glinting, and with a sudden pounce, they leapt into a mock duel, claws sliding against rocks and paws skimming over grass, careful but thrilling, a dance of skill and courage. The cubs gasped and cheered, Timon squeaked, and Pumbaa thumped the ground with excitement, while Rafiki watched, nodding slowly. "Even in challenge, hearts reveal truth," he murmured. Hours passed as Simba and Kovu faced tests of agility, courage, and wit, from leaping across streams to navigating thorny thickets, each move building not just skill but trust and understanding. Kovu's pride and old fears met Simba's determination and kindness, and the rivalry began to shift, not into hatred but into respect, as the sun climbed high and shadows danced across the land. Suddenly dark clouds rolled in, and a wind like a whispering warning swept across the plains. A deep growl echoed from the canyon, signaling that not all threats had disappeared with Scar's fall. Simba's heart tightened, but he remembered Rafiki's words, "Courage and kindness guide the roar, not fear." With a calm but powerful command, he gathered his friends and allies, calling out to the animals of the Pride Lands to unite. And they responded, moving with organized urgency to protect waterholes, cubs, and the heart of their home. From the shadows emerged Zire, a lioness who had grown up with Scar's stories, eyes blazing with mistrust and fire. She demanded proof that Simba was more than a shadow of his father, that his roar could lead, protect, and inspire. Simba stepped forward, voice clear and strong, telling the gathered lions and creatures of the plains that the Pride Lands thrive not on fear or dominance, but on courage, compassion, and unity. Zire hesitated, anger warring with curiosity, and in that silence, the earth trembled as rocks shifted dangerously near a cliff. A misstep could send anyone tumbling, and the tension made even the air still. Simba acted instantly, moving to steady a panicked cub. Kovu leapt to help a young lioness, and together with Nala, Timon, and Pumbaa, they guided the frightened animals to safety. In that moment, Zaire's eyes softened, understanding that leadership was shown through action and care, not threats. The clouds broke, sunlight flooding the plains, highlighting Simba's strength, not just in roar, but in heart. He turned to Kovu, extending a paw, and Kovu accepted it, bowing his head in respect, recognizing that the Pride Lands needed guardians, rulers, and that the past could guide, but not define the future. As dusk painted the horizon in shades of gold and violet, the animals gathered atop Pride Rock, roaring together. A symphony of voices echoing across the land. Rafiki raised his staff, tapping the rock, and whispered that the legacy of the Pride Lands lives in every heartbeat, every choice, and every brave act. Simba looked out over the plains, seeing cubs chasing shadows and elders nodding in quiet approval, knowing that Mufasa's legacy was alive, not in fear, but in the courage to protect, the wisdom to listen, and the love that binds the jungle together. That night, under the sparkling stars, Simba lay with Nala and his friends, the wind carrying the faint echo of Mufasa's roar, not as a command, but as a blessing, filling every heart with the certainty that the Pride Lands would endure, bright and alive, as long as courage, friendship, and heart led the way. The jungle slept peacefully, but Simba, now taller in spirit if not in size, understood that every sunrise brought a new challenge, a new choice. It's a new opportunity to shape the legacy of the Pride Lands, not through fear or power, but through the roar of love and the courage to do what is right. The next morning, the Pride Lands shimmered with a fresh glow, dew sparkling like diamonds on the grass. But Simba's heart felt a pull toward the Outlands, where shadows lingered longer and stories of scars reigned still whispered through the rocks. He gathered Nala, Timon, Pumbaa, and Kovu, whose dark mane now shone with hints of gold in the sun. And together, they set out, paws soft on the earth, yet hearts beating with anticipation. The wind carried distant roars and the cries of frightened animals. And Simba knew the Outlands held more than just memory. They held the chance to prove that courage could change hearts even in the darkest corners. As they crossed jagged cliffs and rivers that sparkled like fractured mirrors, Simba spotted a young lion cub trapped atop a rocky ledge, eyes wide with fear. With careful steps, he guided the cub down, teaching it trust and patience in the same way Mufasa had taught him. And Kovu helped clear a path for fleeing antelope, showing that loyalty could replace old grudges. But as the sun rose high, casting long shadows over the Outlands, a familiar roar echoed. Zaire had returned with followers, young lions and hyenas, testing the strength of Simba's resolve. Fear threatened to grip the group, but Simba lifted his chin, remembering every lesson, every act of mercy, every heartbeat of courage. Instead of fighting, he spoke, voice steady and warm, telling them that the Pride Lands thrive not through dominance, but through unity. That past wrongs could be healed if hearts were willing to change. Some lions hesitated, ears flicking nervously, while the hyenas cowered at the calm power in Simba's words. Zira's eyes narrowed, but she paused, realizing that force alone would not win this battle. Then, a sudden rumble shook the earth as a hidden cliff gave way, sending rocks sliding toward the valley below. Simba and Kovu acted instantly, leaping, guiding, and protecting the animals, turning potential disaster into an act of bravery that all could witness. The young lions and hyenas froze in awe, seeing mercy and strength intertwined. And one by one, they stepped closer, letting fear melt into respect. As the dust settled, Simba approached Zaire, who now looked uncertain, and offered a paw, saying that even the hardest hearts could find a new path if guided by trust. After a long silence, she lowered her head, and for the first time, the Outlands felt less like a place of shadows and more like a part of the jungle that could belong to everyone. As evening fell, painting the horizon with fiery oranges and soft purples, the animals of the Pride Lands and Outlands gathered atop the cliffs, their voices rising in a unified roar that echoed across the valleys and rivers, a sound of courage, friendship, and hope. Rafiki appeared beside Simba, tapping his staff, whispering that the legacy of a king is not just in the roar, but in the hearts he inspires. Simba looked out over the land, feeling Mufasa's presence not as a shadow pressing down, but as a warm light guiding his steps, filling him with certainty that no darkness could last where hearts chose kindness and courage. That night, under a blanket of stars, Simba lay with Nala, Kovu, Timon, and Pumbaa around him, hearing the gentle breathing of the jungle, alive and safe, knowing that every challenge faced, every fear confronted, had strengthened not just him, but the entire Pride Lands. And as the moon rose, silver and calm, Simba understood that leadership was a journey of hearts intertwined, of shadows transformed into lessons, and of the courage to keep choosing light, no matter how long the night may feel. The Pride Lands slept peacefully, the wind carrying the soft echoes of roars and laughter. And Simba, now taller in spirit, closed his eyes with a smile, ready to greet whatever sunrise would bring, knowing that true legacy lives not in fear, but in love, bravery, and the hope that each new generation will rise stronger than the last.